Okay, we're going to learn today some of halachas for Yom Tov. There's a lot of halachas. A lot of the halachas maybe not so practical today. For example, you would be allowed to shecht on Yom Tov, but who shechts today? We all buy ready shechted. No, nobody shechts today. So I'm just going to go whatever maybe practical. So I'm going to go over them. The first one is not so practical, just var chidush. For Yom Tov, we allowed a lot of stuff that we're not allowed to do on Shabbos. So there's a scenario where you could do sewing on Yom Tov. How could you do sewing on Yom Tov? If some people used to do stuff chicken, and they used to sew it, the food in the chicken. The Halachah says there is a way you could sew on Yom Tov. That's whatever you stuff into the chicken and sew it. If you have the thread ready in the needle before Yom Tov, you don't cut it before on Yom Tov. You prepare exactly what you need to sew, and then when you're done, instead of tearing it, even though some saying you would be allowed to do that too, but better says to be yoitza all the days. You would burn it on the fire, the thread, instead of tearing it. So that's one scenario. Again, I'm not sure how much practical it is, but if somebody wants to do a stuffed chicken and sew over there the food, whatever he stuffs in the chicken, you would be allowed to sew it on Yom Tov. There's no problem with that. Okay. The next thing is, it says in Halachah, you're not allowed to, obviously we're not allowed to machshire ochel nefet that we don't eat today. We could do, for example, we're not allowed to go pick from the garden vegetables on Yom Tov. You could have picked it yesterday. They all had to do malachas for ochel nefesh, that things maybe cooking, because it's always better a fresh cooked meal that was just cooked now than you prepared from yesterday. So they allowed it, but to go pick from the garden, you're not allowed to. But the halacha goes further. If you use a scissors to clean the vegetables, there's some spots of the vegetable you want to cut with the scissors. And Yom Tov, they say don't do that lechatchila, because the reason for it, that's why I said it's not, I would say today, it's better not to do it, not osur. Why? Because originally they used to use the same scissors, cutting from the garden, and with the same scissors, cut the vegetables. That people might think you just cut them from the garden using those scissors. Mitzat poshat maris ayin, they said don't cut your vegetables with a knife. You could cut it, whatever piece you want to cut out of it to throw away. But with the special scissors, don't do that, they said, because it looks like with the same scissors, maybe you just cut them from the garden. Mitzat maris ayin said don't use the scissors. They have today balabastas scissors for kitchen, so it looks like recommended not to use the scissors on Yom Tov to clean the vegetables, but they use the knife. Because otherwise, like I said, even though you might argue today, how many people have things in their garden altogether? People have no garden. If they have a garden, how many people have vegetables, and how many people use the same scissors for the garden? You could say it's not shaykh to that, but still, that was the original halacha. We don't cut the vegetables with the special scissors. So you will if even you need to clean the bad part, you'll do it with the knife. Okay. Now, there's another halacha you're allowed to do on Yom Tov, to cut the vegetables dak, meaning very, very thin pieces. Even though it might be looking like thin, grinding, you're allowed to do it. However, the Biur halacha brings that if people, especially today, they had it even then, the time of the many years ago, but even today, they have a lot of tools today that you could cut many vegetables in one flip of a device that has it could cut right away. It says better not to use this device that you don't cut with a knife, because that might have a border with a shaila of tchina, of grinding, if it makes small pieces. So again, so if you need to cut a salad on Yom Tov, that's better obviously to do it with a knife. Oh, here is very important halacha, which is could make people, a lot of people don't know, and they on Yom Tov miserable because they, sometimes it's 2 days or 3 days Yom Tov with Shabbos, and then people don't take showers, and they're miserable, and people around them miserable. So, which rechitza you're not allowed to do on Yom Tov? Which rechitza you're allowed to? The rechitza we're not allowed to do, even though the Gemara says that we're allowed to cook water, to boil water for drinking. Mimela, they allowed also rechitzas pon of yodov raglov, if you want to do not for drinking but for washing your feet, your hand. Now, rechitzas kol gufoy lekula alma, making water today, for making a full shower, you're not allowed to. There's a machloikes of a rishonim. What happened if you have water from yesterday? If you could use it. Shabbos, Lamashal, we know, even you have water from yesterday, there was a gzeras merchas. Midrabanon, the Gemara says that the olden days, time of Chazal, a lot of people used showering on Shabbos. That the water was from yesterday. Well, I didn't cook anything. What's the problem? Fine. But then they saw people that in charge of the bed houses, so it's a good business. People coming Shabbos, taking showers, and it was temptation. Some of them fell for it. They start doing water on Shabbos because it's a big business. They want to lose business. Chachamim saw this, where it's going to. Says no, can't take full shower on Shabbos. On Shabbos, at Yom Tov, like that, some machlokes. The reason for it because they didn't want they call them the ballonim, the people that are in charge of the bed houses, to make water on Shabbos. So so according to this, even you didn't do any chilul Shabbos, the water was prepared from yesterday. You won't be allowed to do a full shower on Shabbos. Oh, l'gabe Yom Tov it's a machlokes. L'maisa la'alocha, so you cannot take a full shower on Yom Tov. Even with the water from yesterday, and how much more the water you're going to be taking a shower and the water going to be prepared today, it's not allowed to. So what you're allowed to do, again, that's what I'm saying is according to the ruba of the poskim, you're allowed to do less than the full body, meaning instead of 50% of your body, you do 49%. As long as you don't do ruboy kechuloi, so you less than half, you saved 49%. You're allowed to do it. And it says, upon of your is lav dafka. Any parts of the body you need to wash with a hot water that even you prepared on Yom Tov, as long as it's not the most of your body, you're allowed to do it. Okay. Now, my tzoinanim, cold water, even on Shabbos or Yom Tov, you're allowed to do even full shower with cold water. Now, the only restrictions on this, it says, bokem rabim. Let's say somebody going to mikvah. I remember one time somebody, by Yom Tov, after the mikvah, he took a shower and he started arguing with people, told him not to. Yeah, it says, rabim, not to do that. Even if some of the body, whole body in tzoinin, because then people, again, going back to the same gezerah of merchatz, people don't know cold, hot, some of the body, whole body, they don't know, and they might have come to this, the whole mikvah going to be taking showers on Yom Tov. That's why, berabim, you don't do that. But tzina at your house, again, so you could do, again, a full shower of tzoinen, of cold, obviously, if an amutar, that's already halachos relates to Shabbos too. You don't take a hard soap, and you don't do schita. You do just to rinse off, just to clean off, to refresh with cold water or hot water, less than half of your body. I mean, not ruboy. That you're allowed to do. Okay. Also, there's another halacha. The only meleches oichel nefesh we're allowed to do is for us. But you cannot prepare food for if you're inviting somebody, not a Yid, to your Yom Tov, you're not allowed to cook for him, and for that the Chachamim also went further. You cannot even invite him for Sudas Yom Tov. If he comes on its own, you could give him food, but you cannot invite him. Begzera, you might cook for him, but even when he comes, definitely you're not allowed to cook extra for Shloshena Yehudi. On Yom Tov. On Shabbos, no problem to invite him. It's ad halacha because Shabbos we don't cook. Yom Tov that we cook, but you might cook extra for him. No, you don't invite. But if he comes by himself, you're allowed to give food as long as you don't cook extra for him. Okay, shkoyach.
You want to say the Rabbi